Hello everyone, Sodor Railway Studios here, and welcome to an episode commentary on my series, Sodor Railway Tales. Um, I wasn't originally going to do anything like this, but then I decided I might as well make this a series and talk about how I came up with the story ideas. So today we're going to be looking at today we're looking at episode 1, which is titled Emily's Grumpy Friend. Which I've had this story idea for quite a while now, actually. I had this story idea for quite a long time, I think even before I even started my channel. I will be honest, this was even before I started my channel, I thought of the video, the story. I think I started it in 2022, I think. I had the idea in 2022. And then I also, because I realised that Emily never actually interacted with the narrow gauge engines. And so I decided to make a story about that. And I thought if I was to have her interact with any of the narrow gauge engines, it would be Duncan. Because, you know, they're both Scottish and whatnot. And we got the Sodor Railway Zero voicing the Fat Controller in the series. So he does the voice of the Fat Controller in my series, along with a few other characters like Gordon and Duck, and you'll hear him as Rheneas as well. And yeah, that's me voicing Emily as well. Like, I wasn't originally going to voice Emily. I did want to get a female person to do it, but no one offered to do it for by the time I wanted to get the episode out, so I had to do it myself, basically. But I do think I did a good job, even though it's not 100% accurate to Teresa Gallagher's performance. I did at least keep the Scottish accent, I think. But looking back now, I do kind of wish I got a voice actor for Emily that was female. So I think if Emily appears in any future episodes, she's probably going to be voiced by Ashley Menard, who voices most of the female characters in my series, like Rosie and Millie as well. She's going to be Millie in episode 8 of the series, which I haven't done yet. I've finished the script, but I just need to wait for Crane Engine Studios to send me his lines. And then we got Jacob JCB as Percy. Because Jacob JCB, I actually became familiar with him through Real Sean Caffrey, who's another good friend of mine. I do a lot of voices in Sean's series as well. So, as I was saying, I came up with the idea because obviously Emily never interacted with any of the narrow gauge engines in season, in any season of the show, let alone a particular one. And then we got the scene with Scar Lowy meeting Emily. You can't see it, of course, because it's an audio story, but yeah, most of this episode is really just me talking to myself, because I do most of the voices, because of the fact that no one offered to voice Emily by the time I wanted to get it out, but yeah. Oh, yeah, man, here we have the moment of Duncan showing up and being grumpy as usual. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about Duncan as a character, because he's not even though he is a bit of a jerk sometimes, he's never properly bad intentioned. That's the thing I like about Duncan, and I wanted to have him interact with Emily because obviously they both have Scottish accents. Emily in the UK dub at least, but yeah, and I will admit I had a lot of fun voicing Duncan in this episode. I think he's definitely one of my favorite characters to do. Like, I think I have a lot of fun impersonating what Tom Staunton did for him. Oh yeah, there's Sodor Railway Zero's Rheneas. He does a really good Rheneas voice, by the way. It's funny that I mentioned about finding Duncan really fun to voice, because I actually voice him in the Sodor Railway Zeros series as well, which is also an audio series. And also one thing I should mention is that I back in a while back I actually said Sodor Railway Tales episodes are actually free to adapt. Oh no, we got mascot the MSC Tank Engine 2004 coming in as Rusty. Yeah, the main reason I cast mascot as Rusty is because Rusty is actually his favorite Diesel character in Thomas, which is another reason why I uploaded a review of Rusty to the Rescue on his birthday last year. So that was kind of like my birthday present to him. And so I decided when I got this series going, I decided I might as well allow him to voice Rusty because I know how much he loves Rusty. Even though obviously the mascot's got a northern accent, so and I'm not sure. I mean, I don't mind that he wasn't able to do an impersonation of what Matt Wilkinson did because I wasn't overly fussed about what kind of voice I wanted Rusty to have. And some characters I did have preferences in terms of voices when I held the auditions for the series, but some of them I wasn't particularly fussed about what voices like to give. But as I was saying a while back, I said that this series is actually free to adapt. And I believe Ed with the Blue Engine #2 or Eddie. I believe he's actually working on an adaptation of the episode because he asked me to send a script because he asked me to send me the script and because he asked me to send me the script on his Discord because he asked me to send him the script on his Discord. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Eddie has in store for his adaptation of the story because and then we got the scene with Duncan being rude to Emily and saying he doesn't need her help. Yeah, classic Duncan. That's classic Duncan for you. Always being really stubborn. Yeah. So yeah, even though I do voice most of the characters myself in this series, but I do have quite a few characters voiced by some of my friends or my YouTube friends. So, like, for example, the Sudrian A0, as you heard, he voices Rheneas and the Fat Controller in this episode, but he's also the voice of Gordon, Dark, Bert as well, the Arsdale engine, and I think I also cast him as Dan, I think, as well, so those are the characters he'll be voicing, and Real Sean Caffrey is also in this series. He's voicing quite a few characters like Toby and Fergus and Arthur. He gets his own like Time to Shine episode with Fergus's Day Off, which is episode 6. Sound off in the comments if you want me to do a commentary on that episode because that's one of my favorites that I've done. Oh yeah, and then we have the classic Duncan getting his karma scene in the minute. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, yeah. Callback. Yeah, there's a callback to rock and roll. With that crash, that non-visible crash, I guess. I guess you could call that. Well, non-visible until Eddie makes an adaptation of this story, because I'm sure he'll have come up with a nice way with a good way of handling the crash. Yeah, I don't. I think it's probably best not to ask why Emily is able to find Duncan and take him to the Steamworks because I know I come up with a reason as to why Duncan wasn't able to go to the Steamworks on his own because one of his wheels was broken, so he couldn't go by himself. And yeah, there's Mr. Percival scolding him. Um, so I do think that I think it's probably best not to question why Emily's having to do it. But though I do say that none of the other narrow gauge engines are able to take Duncan to the Steamworks, but I think it's best not to question the location of where they are, considering there's not going to be obviously. I mean, they weren't at Krosny Kern, just letting you know, because obviously there's no standard gauge line to Krosny Kern or Krosny Kurin, however you pronounce it. I have no idea, honestly. And then we have the scene of Duncan apologizing to Emily, and basically the moment where they become friends, pretty much. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of things to say if I'm honest, but needless to say, this was definitely one of my favorite episodes to write for the series, even though it was the first one. Um, Duncan's always such a fun character to write for. I can tell that the writers for the actual for the TV series had a lot of fun writing episodes for him, particularly in like the hit era. Because they did at least give him at least one lead role in each season of the hit era, barring season 8, of course, because the narrow gauge engines weren't in that season. Oh, and we've now reached the end of the episode, and we've got the credits now. And yeah, it's a bit outdated now, these end credits, because back when I did this episode, I used, if you can't tell, that's obviously the Shining Time Station theme. Um, but now I've decided, after Sudri Afra released his like instrumental cover of the engine roll call in the classic series style, I thought I might as well use the ending of that as my new credits theme. So ever since Red Engine Rivalry, which is episode 7, that's going to be the case, and it's also going to be the case for future episodes probably as well, like Millie's Minute of Fame as well, which is episode 8. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.